While they're asleep, we're gonna have some invisible people, like, giving them wedgies and stuff. I am doing something I said I would never do, and that's read this. Again, actually. This would be the second time that I read this book. I hope I don't regret it. Was not impressed the first time. Remembered nothing about this book except for the main character biting down really hard on a pool cue for some reason. Without further ado, my live reactions as I reread Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Hey, it rhymes. You know what else rhymes with Maas? Anyway. Good evening. Or whatever part of the day it is for you. And welcome to Reading. I am not just gonna roast books. I hope to completely eviscerate them. Or at least that's the plan. You never know. Maybe they're just roasts. Maybe I'm not funny. But I've discovered that I really like to hate read books and make fun of them recently. I like to read good books too, but it's a lot easier for me to make hate reviews about books than it is to make just about any other kind of review. Because usually when I read a good book, I am like, this is amazing, 5 stars, confetti, a blimp floating through the air with a banner behind it saying, this was the best book ever! But when I don't like a book, boy do I have a lot to say. That's what we're gonna do most of the time. Roast. Please keep in mind that I do think it is okay to be a hater. For fun. That being said, if you have any kind of undying love for this book or any of the books I ever talk about, maybe pick a different video to watch. This is all just for fun. I promise. If you want to avoid spoilers, this is also not the place for you. I don't care about spoilers. Especially since I'm going to be live reading this book, so I don't have to take notes. Because going back through my notes later is going to make my head hurt. If you're here for a good time, welcome. Please forge ahead. Without further ado. Alright. We start off in salt mines with the main character Selena Sardothian. I just know I probably mispronounced that. You never can tell with these fantasy books sometimes. And then someone's gonna come after you for saying the name wrong. It's okay. I'm used to having my own name misspelled and mispronounced. Me and Selena can probably relate to one another a lot on that front. I feel like after a year of slavery and being escorted everywhere in shackles, you would kind of have a lay of the land at that point. I'm sorry. The man grasping her arm was tall and fit. How did she know? Is she not blindfolded? No, I guess she's not. I'm just stupid. I kind of feel like she should be blindfolded. She's not going to lose her bearings that easily. Why isn't she blindfolded? These people suck at their job. Why is she smiling at him? And why is his grip tightening? And why is that flattering? How do you say these names? Is there a thing in the back that tells you how to say names? Oh, there is. Oh, it's Kayal, not Chowl. I guess Kayal Westfall sounds way better than Chowl Westfall, Captain of the Royal Guard. Okay, so she repeats to herself every morning, I will not be afraid, but is accustomed to being escorted everywhere in shackles at sword point. Can it be both? Maybe she's just accustomed to fear. She adjusted her tunic with her free hand. What? I thought she was shackled. I don't understand. Ah! Yes, I was waiting for this. We are on page 2. It was true that she had been attractive once. Beautiful, even. But, well, it didn't matter now, did it? She just smiled at the frickin' Kayal guy. Apparently it does still matter. She wakes up every morning saying, I will not be afraid, but isn't afraid to fight the captain of the Royal Guard. Listen, I know she's supposed to be like a hoity-toity amazing assassin and shit, but how are you... Wait. Hang on. Adarlan's most notorious assassin that has to tell herself every morning, I will not be afraid, and is simultaneously willing to fight, well, I assume that's what this means. The captain of the Royal Guard would be an interesting opponent, maybe even worthy of some effort on her part. So is she afraid or not? What kind of assassin is this? Page 3, and this is the second deep sigh I have taken. How lovely it was to hear a voice like her own, cool and articulate, even if he was a nasty brute. A voice like her own, huh? Don't people usually think that their own voices sound kind of stupid? Like right now I'm talking, and I feel like I sound really stupid. Not cool and articulate. Yeah, right. Also, page 3, we have our first growl from a dude. A growl of annoyance. Can I do that? Can I... Nope. I don't sound annoyed. Oh, it'd be nice to see his blood spill across the marble. She'd lost her temper once before. Once! But she has to wake up every morning saying, I will not be afraid. Where are we going again? She said sweetly, brushing a strand of her matted hair from her face. Shouldn't she be, like, walking these halls with this dude, still repeating the mantra of, I will not be afraid? If she's used to it, why? The fuck? Yes, another word I have to be told how to pronounce. My favorite. Is it in here? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. This one is Eelway. Not gonna lie, can't stop thinking about eels. Now. I would have guessed Isleway? So she's walking past all of these already broken people from Eelway, and she has other things to think about. This girl is not thinking about not being afraid. She's sick to her stomach over being hanged, maybe? Page 5, our first mention of feet. Nice. Alright, so we spent the entire first chapter walking through salt mines, trying to decide if we're a boss bitch or if we're afraid of being hanged. I guess both things can be true. I guess you can be a boss bitch who is afraid of being hanged. I personally have never been hung before. I'm not gonna say I'm any kind of boss bitch. I also don't think I need to be afraid of being hung, but you never know. Times are changing. We walked all that way with this dude named Kayal, and now we're in front of the Crown Prince of Adarlan. My cat has made an appearance. I have yet to care about any of these people. Let's see, how many characters did we have introduced in Chapter 1? A Selena Sardothian, a Kayal Westfall, and the Crown Prince of Adarlan. He must be a darling. Ugh. Okay, I don't understand. Why are we making comments about, like, the handsomeness of a guy leading us to our potential death? Is that important right now? Captain Westfall was not excessively handsome, but she couldn't help finding the ruggedness of his face and the clarity of his golden brown eyes rather appealing. Is now the time? You've got to be kidding me. Chapter 2, and we're already... You know what? We're just gonna keep reading. Oh, now she's keenly aware of her wretched dirtiness. Give me a break. She wouldn't be humiliated by anything, least of all being dirty. Okay? She's already keenly aware of her filth? Wretched dirtiness. Sorry, forgot the phrase. Dorian Havillard. That is the douchiest name I have seen in this book so far. Page 8. He was achingly handsome and couldn't have been older than 20. Why? Is this the time? Are you serious? You've got to be kidding me. Ugh. We're not supposed to be keenly aware of our wretched dirtiness because we're an assassin and we've been training since we were 8 years old. But we have to wake up every morning and say, "Don't be afraid," or whatever the heck her little mantra was. And now we're looking at two guys like, oh, they're so handsome. Oh my gosh. When you're about to, I don't know, maybe die? Is now the time? What are they gonna do? Like, ask you, do you have any final wishes? And you're gonna be like, yeah, I would like to bang you both right now. I'm going out anyway. What's the problem? It's okay. You guys are both cute. I can't decide which one I like more. What kind of assassin cares about banging two dudes? Okay, she hasn't said that explicitly, but why else would you notice how handsome someone is? You're about to die. Why does it matter who's attractive or not? It's page 8. And one of the main topics of any thought and conversation is people's attractiveness. What? Oh, now we're going to talk about her eyes. At passing glance, one might think her eyes blue or gray, perhaps even green, depending on the color of her clothing. What about the color of the dirt all over her that she's so keenly aware of now? Oh, these warring hues were offset by the brilliant ring of gold around her pupils. Who's describing this? Who's looking at her right now? Is she, like, thinking about herself? That would be very in character, I will say. Oh, but it was her golden hair that caught the attention of most. Hair that still maintained a glimmer of its glory. Wait a second. Wasn't her hair matted? Where did it say that? I don't know where it was, but it did say that her hair was matted, and if she's so dirty, how is her hair still perfect? What is this, a Garnier commercial? You were supposed to clean her! I didn't want to keep you waiting. Don't bother with the bath just yet. I can see her potential. Was it him? Is he the one scrutinizing her features so closely? I don't believe that we've ever had the pleasure of an introduction, but as you probably know, I'm Dorian Havillard, Crown Prince of Adarlan, perhaps now Crown Prince of most of Erelea. Is that how you say that? Gosh, I've spent your whole life reading words, and you still question. I was wrong. Aurelia. Okay, so not only does he introduce himself, he introduces her to herself. You do know that you're now a slave, don't you? Has your sentence taught you nothing? I don't see how working in a mine can teach anything beyond how to use a pickaxe. And maybe how to have a really bad attitude? I don't know, maybe that's just an assassin thing. Maybe assassins are just supposed to have bad attitudes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any assassin character I've read in a book usually has some kind of bad attitude. Probably because they wake up every morning saying, I will not be afraid. She waited 4 months to attempt to flee. If she really were the best assassin in whatever country she's from, wouldn't she just, like, be able to do that sooner? This prison doesn't seem like it's, like, that strict about anything. This smells funny. This face. I think I've made this face several times already. There's no hope of escaping. To attempt to flee is suicide. But you're alive. Yes. What happened? I snapped. Maybe she's just crazy, and that's how she makes this assassin thing work. Is that it? Is she just crazy? She has to wake up every morning with this mantra of, I will not be afraid. And she snaps, and what does she do? She killed her overseer, and 23 centuries before they caught her. And she still didn't escape. She was a finger's tip from the wall before the guards knocked her unconscious. She did all that, and she let them knock her unconscious. Please, best assassin in place of existence. Yeah, right. Okay. Why? Okay, this guy's a crown prince, and he's commenting on a terrible stench from a prisoner who is very clearly filthy. Okay, don't they, like, you know, teach these royal types manners? Don't you think, like, maybe you, like, visibly react because you can smell her, but you expected that, right? Wouldn't you expect a filthy prisoner to also probably smell like unwashed booty hole and armpit? Why do you have to say? We all know. It's the looming elephant in the room. Why do you have to comment on it? She already knows she's ugly and dirty and afraid. Why do you have to make her stink too? In less than a second, she could get her arms over the prince's head and have her shackles crushing his windpipe. Then do it! Aren't you, like, supposed to be the best assassin? Just do it! Why do you have to think about it? He just said you stink! Crush his windpipe! No one's gonna cry. That you care about, anyway. What remarkable eyes you have. See, all of the, like, earlier commentating about what her eyes looked like could have been here instead. What remarkable eyes you have. That would make sense. But no, we have to do it earlier when she's like, I used to be beautiful, but now I'm covered in wretched filth, and I smell. Also, why does she care about scars? Why does anyone care about her scars? She's an assassin. I bet no one even cares that she's a female. Assassins are assassins. They're heartless. They kill people. Apparently they stink. I'm not an idiot, though I was foolish enough to be captured. And she's the best assassin in... what's the world called? Aurelia? Oh wait, maybe it's on this list. I found this other list. I said it wrong again. I'm so sorry. Aurelia. Aurelia. No! No, I don't like that. That's not... whatever. Dorian steepled his fingers. I have a proposition for you. And this is when she could be like, no, Prince. I have a proposition for you. You see, I might stink to high heaven, but I think that you and Kaol are very attractive. Let's just do it. Right here. No one has to know. You're gonna kill me anyway. No one has to know. Well, you might leave smelling like me, but it's kind of a prison. It just smells down here, you know, like the miasma probably will just stick to your clothing. It's fine. But just, you guys are cute. Come on, that's my proposition. I don't care about your proposition. I care about my proposition. You guys are cute. Right? Right? No? Okay. Her chest tightened. Yeah, because she wants to ask. Do me, please. Please, you're so pretty. Don't let me leave this earth untouched. No, she had to ruin the moment. I'm listening, was all she said. Boring! Boring! The prince's eyes shone with amusement at her brashness, but lingered a bit too long on her body. Girl, don't get it twisted. You stink. You're dirty. You're filthy. You're barefoot. You have calluses on your feet that no one cared about knowing about. He's not lingering too long for the reasons you think. I guarantee. He's a crown prince. Unless he has a really, really particular kind of fetish. Just putting that out there. The prince crossed his long legs. Leave us, he ordered the guards. Kaol, stay where you are. Ah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I can feel it. Foolish move is right, because now she's gonna get what she really wants out of these two cute dudes. The prince chuckled. Don't you think it's risky to be so bold with me when your freedom is on the line? Yes, it's a risk I'm willing to take, if you know what I mean. Aw, man, boring. My father needs a champion. For what? Okay, she still should speak up and be like, no. 6 years of being your father's champion sounds horrible. That's a bad trade for my freedom. I would prefer it if you, me, and Kayal, can we just do that? And then I can have my freedom? No? Okay. I will shut up now. Oh my gosh. I forgot about this. I forgot. There's a catch. The position isn't being offered to you yet. My father thought to have a bit of fun. He's hosting a competition. And that's supposed to be fun? What is this? Like, is he gonna pull that Squid Games thing? If you've seen Squid Games, the first season, and you know what I'm talking about? Is that his idea of fun? I'm telling you, Selena should just... Am I saying that name right? Oh, yeah. In the back of my book here, it's in big, giant letters, so I know that this is a very important name to pronounce. Selena. I remembered that one. The other ones, not so much. Yikes. So this competition is her against a bunch of other assassins. But if she's the best assassin, what's the problem? Easy. Just win. You're the best already. Everyone has already told us it's only page 16, and every single other person other than you, and including you, has said that you are the best assassin ever. So, easy. You're a shoo-in. Just do it. You kept your identity a secret all the years you were running around killing people. Okay, then if she kept her identity a secret, they all know her name. I mean, it's probably because she's a prisoner, but they all already know her name, and they all know she's the best. I'm not gonna let this go. She's the best. What story do we have if she's the best assassin already? She kept her identity a secret, but they all know she's the best assassin. Everyone has touted her as the best assassin around. I'm gonna fact check myself. Where does it say it? I'm sorry. I've been kind of bitchy about that this whole time. She is Adarlan's most notorious assassin, who also managed to keep her identity a secret all the years she was running around assassinating people. Sure. And then, she has the nerve to be upset that she has to compete with a different name that isn't hers. So I'm slaving in this miserable place for a name and title that don't even belong to me. You kept your other identity a secret. Does it matter? Do you care? Why would an assassin care about... This competition seems unnecessary. Why not just hire me already? That's a good point, most notorious assassin. As I just said, you must prove yourself worthy. You already said she was the best. Most notorious? Whatever. Everyone knows she's kind of a big deal, and she still has to prove herself worthy. That's interesting. Very. So she raises a good point. Well, I think being Adarlan's assassin exceeds any sort of proof you might need. So she bargains him down from 5 years to 4, when initially he said 6. And then she says, I might be trading one form of slavery for another, but I'm not a fool. Twice now she has said that she's not a fool or stupid, but maybe she kind of is a little bit. I should cut her some slack. She's a young woman. She may have been training to be an assassin since she was 8 years old, but still a young woman with a young woman's brain and a young woman's easy temper. So if she loses, she gets sent back to serve out the remainder of her sentence. And she says, a year in this place has worn me through. She certainly doesn't have the attitude of a person who's been worn through by a year of Minecraft or whatever she's doing. Promising. She didn't notice when Captain Westfall led her away, nor did she notice when they walked down hall after hall. She noticed earlier, she certainly isn't Adarlan's assassin for nothing. I don't know. I'm not convinced by her assassinhood just yet. We'll see as this progresses. Again, I've read this before. I remember nothing except for the pool cue biting incident, which is an unfortunate thing to remember about a book, but I certainly haven't read anything like that in a book before. I've read a lot of books, and never has a character angrily bitten a pool cue. So, makes sense that I would remember that. She lays in this comfortable bed, can't sleep, which, I don't know. I feel like you would be able to sleep if you had spent a year sleeping on a rock floor, and then, maybe you collapse into a comfortable bed and you can sleep for once. But, fine. She's stressed out, not trusting. That's fair. That's okay. But she rotates her raw, burning joints. Where was that earlier? She's been walking barefoot with this guy she thinks is cute through these hallways. Not a mention of it then. Just now? Oh no, her breasts. So she gets fed some chicken, which is probably the best food that she's eaten in a while. I mean, it's understandable that she wouldn't be able to fully eat it. She runs to the bathroom, she throws up, even though she wants to eat. Fine. Okay. Great. But then she proceeds to, say that her once well-formed breasts were now no larger than they'd been in the midst of puberty. Again, why is this something we care about? We're a badass, notorious assassin who's killed a gajillion people probably since we were 8 years old. We've been killing and maiming and demanding rent money, and we lose a bunch of weight, our boobs shrink, and it's the end of the world almost. Why would you care about that? Why would you care? Why? She cares so much that she gets a lump clogging her throat. They're just boobs. They're just boobs. Okay, this is realistic. The guy, Kayal, he comes to get her the next morning and finds her sleeping on the floor wrapped in a blanket. Fair. That's fair. At least she brought a blanket with her, but I get it. You're used to sleeping on the floor, you go back to the floor. Okay, fine, sure. Why are you sleeping on the ground? He says. Gee, I wonder. No reason. Bed was uncomfortable. What kind of bed is that then? If the bed is uncomfortable after you've gotten used to sleeping in whatever terrible conditions that you're sleeping in, they probably got it on Temu. So she says her mantra again. I will not be afraid. Cool. For the first time in a while, the words felt true. This is not an assassin I would hire, just so we're clear. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a vain assassin on our hands. It's like when you play Dungeons and Dragons and you get to roll dice for, character traits. They're like, okay, I want an assassin, and you roll the dice, and your assassin is obsessed with clothes, and you have to make that, your character's thing. That's kind of what it feels like this author did with Selena. They're like, assassin needs some color. Roll some dice. Obsessed with clothes. Cool. Our fearless, notorious assassin has a clenching stomach over leaving all of the other prisoners to their miserable fate. You don't know them? Why would you care? You're a notorious assassin. Some of those people, if they were still out and not in prison, you probably would have killed or maimed. Or worse, if there is worse. Extorting money, maybe. Assassins don't do that. They extort lives. Oh, we're obsessed with clothes, and we gotta stop to pet the doggies. Oh, how unusual for them to notice you, says the sapphire-eyed crown prince. Who cares what color his eyes are at this distance? Who cares? I don't care what color his eyes are. Not right now. How unusual for them to notice you. Did you give them food? No. I think they're interested in me because maybe the bath I got last night, or this morning, whenever the bath was, probably didn't do a good enough job, and I still smell a little bit. And you know how dogs are about sniffing butts, right? So they're probably just really interested in sniffing my butt. The captain steps behind her, and she contemplates that it would take all of 2 movements to disarm him. Then do it! Do it already! You are the most notorious assassin from the place you're from. And you're like, I could disarm him. Nah. Doggies. Some assassin you're turning out to be. Ugh. It's not looking good for Selena. So they all get on their ponies to go somewhere else. To her surprise, she gets shackled to Kayal, and she again considers leaping from her horse and using the chain to hang him from the nearest tree. Once again, I say, just do it. Weird for an assassin to A, be too aware of the scars on her back, and B, care that other people are not free while she is. That is strange. You'd think an assassin would have a little bit more callousness toward people that they don't know. As someone who kills people for a living, you kind of need that as part of the job description. Like, you know, what if you walk into this place and you gotta kill this dude or chick, doesn't matter, person, you gotta kill this person, and you walk in and you're like watching them sleep and they're like drooling a little bit and they kind of like snore, or maybe they're talking in their sleep, and you can't let that humanize them. You're supposed to kill them. Selena seems like the kind of assassin who would let her marks get the best of her. If she's worried about other people in a mine that are slaves, and she's sad for them having to stay there playing Minecraft while she walks free for some goofy competition of all the assassins, yeah, I don't know if she's gonna be able to kill anybody. I haven't seen her kill anybody yet. She keeps talking about wanting to kill people, but she has not followed through on any of those threats. So, I mean, to be fair, this book would be... Where was her first threat of violence? Back here somewhere. It would be like this long. This little tiny bit, right? If she actually followed through on her ability to kill people. See, again, here she's like, oh, I could do this and he'd fall off of his horse and I could jump on him, and, well, at this point, if she jumped on him, I don't think it would be killing that she would be doing, because she did think he was cute. So, you know, I just had a thought. Maybe I'm being a little unfair to this assassin. She could enact all of this violence on these people, but she's not. You know, generally assassins work in the shadows, right? They're a little sneaky, so maybe the environment isn't sneak-worthy. Maybe that's why. So she's just thinking it because she could do it, but, like, the circumstances are incorrect. So she wouldn't be able to. Nah, if she were really, like, a notorious badass assassin, it wouldn't matter. She'd be able to kill people and run off, and no one would be the wiser. They'd just find the bodies later on and be like, who did this?
Ah, dead body! Ah, dead body! Oh, what happened?
After hours of silence, Selena turns to Kaol, who she has 3 times at least now considered killing, and hasn't followed through. Rumor has it that once the king is blah 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 blah, he'll blah 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 blah. And, how does she know anything about what the king is planning on doing? She's been locked up in prison for a year. What, did they, like, gossip around her? Do they not care? I mean, there's been no mention. How would she know that? How would she know what the king is planning on doing anywhere? Maybe this is news she heard before she went to prison. It has only been a year, but, you know, like, a lot can happen in a year. Maybe she's just making up shit because she wants to talk to a cute guy. Maybe that's what it is. Aw, see? Do you intend to ignore me forever? Aw, she wants to talk to him. She's just making stuff up because she wants to make conversation with this cute guy. I didn't know I was ignoring you. Come on. Blech. How old are you? See? Why? Who cares? Except when you find someone attractive. How old are you? 22. So young! She batted her eyelashes, watching him for some kind of response. Hang on, wait a sec. And he says, how old are you? And she says, 18. Why are you calling a 22-year-old so young? You guys are like 4 years apart. You guys are both young and stupid. Crime isn't an accomplishment. Oh! Ooh. Yes, but becoming the world's most famous assassin is. You might ask me how I did it. See? See? World's most famous assassin. But she cries. On the inside, not on the outside. That would be too far if she cried on the outside as world's most famous assassin. She cries on the inside for all of the slaves she left behind her playing Minecraft. Girl, please. You might ask me how I did it. Did what? Became so talented and famous so quickly. 10 years. 8 to 18. How quick is quickly? Just asking. I don't want to hear about it, he says, which she didn't want to hear. You're not very kind. You're a criminal. Whoa. Buddy, that's a little bit too far. Meanie face. Be grateful we don't keep you locked up in the wagon. Why didn't you? Then you wouldn't have to worry about her potentially strangling you with some chains. Lock her in the wagon. You also don't want to talk to her. Lock her in the wagon. It's not that hard. See? She's got to grill the cute guy for all the information. Oh, you're a lord? Why don't you use that title? You have an older brother? Can I date him? Maybe he's nicer than you. Oh my gosh. Are you married? He's 22. I guess it's possible. He doesn't seem like the marrying type. I'm not married either, as she picks her nails coquettishly or whatever. Oh my gosh, this girl is something. This girl is something. Why do you care about all this stuff? You're an assassin. If you had to kill the guy, you wouldn't care about any of that stuff. You wouldn't care if he had a wife and kids. You gotta kill him. You need to make a living. That's that. And as soon as you care that he has a wife and kids, or an older brother, or a title, then you're gonna be like, oh, I can't kill this guy. He's got so much to live for. I can't kill him. And what kind of assassin would you be? You would get no jobs, and you would make no money. Might as well go do something else, like milk a cow, or what do failed assassins do? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. If she fails to be an assassin later on in this competition, maybe we'll find out what failed assassins do. Go back to prison, apparently that's the threat we're working with here. If she wanted to break free, she'd have to go through Kaol first. Had they been alone, she might have attempted it. Okay, see, that's okay. Okay, assassin, okay, alone. You work alone. You do, like, little tiny, it's like you one-on-one. Shh. The chains would make it difficult. But she's already fantasized about using the chains to kill the guy, like, twice. So, would they really make it difficult, or are you just fantasizing? Like, are you coming to grips with reality after having a fantasy about killing the guy with the chains? Fair. Growth. Okay, we can do it. Okay. Kaol making a huge mistake and unlocking her chains. Oh, never mind. So the crown prince and this other dude, a duke, who I have not mentioned yet because he was just kind of in the way of Selena's little, like, threesome that she should have been having back in the salt mines. He and the duke, this is good. She's observing them having a grave conversation where the crown prince's entire body seems tense, and she notices the way he clenches his jaw when the duke speaks. And then, as if I needed this information told to me when I could already see it happening, whatever their relationship was, it wasn't cordial. I can see that. Thanks. Great. And then she stops watching them, which is arguably more interesting than what she goes on to look at, the trees. King of the Assassins. She was only 8 when he found her half submerged on the banks of a frozen river and brought her to his keep on the border between Adarlan and Terrasen. Okay, how do you say this guy's name? I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna see if I'm right. Arobin. Is it back here? I think I said it right. Arobin. Okay, I was right. Cool. I don't look like that much of a fool. Oh. Yikes. Curious to see how this plays out in the future, but this dude, Arobin, would have, according to Selena, handed her to those who would have killed her, or worse, she was 8! What? Who? See, can we have this story be about that guy? Like, one sentence alone convinces me that he actually deserves to be the king of assassins, when he would willingly take this little 8-year-old girl that he rescued and be like, nah, and chuck her back to the wolves, or whatever was trying to kill her. See, that's the kind of heartless bastard who is worthy of being an assassin. Can someone be worthy of being an assassin? Selena isn't yet. Now, if she leaves an 8-year-old to die, maybe. Okay, so she's looking at the trees for a good reason. This forest is kind of important. It's Brannon's forest. Don't know who that is. I guess we're gonna kind of find out. Oh, he was a Fey king. And they're all like, ha ha ha, fairies. And Selena's like, don't you dare disrespect those fairies. These woods are still theirs. So I'm sure later on, like, while they're asleep, we're gonna have some invisible people, like, giving them wedgies and stuff. Because, you know, that's, like, the thing. Fae are, like, tricksy kind of people. Like, oh, you're gonna talk shit about my forest? I'm gonna give you, a wedgie. I'm gonna take your underwear, or whatever passes undergarments in this world, and I'm gonna pull them up and over your head so that they are stuck on your nose. Okay, tangent, sorry. So I've gleaned so far, I haven't been told, I've gleaned so far from the story that magic, bad. People who try to use magic end up in the salt mines. Fairies, magic, bad. Okay. See, I didn't have to have someone be like, magic is bad in the book. Oh, so we've got like a Shrek situation going on here. The king had a campaign to hunt down and execute the Fae, and they ran off. Okay, so the king is Lord Farquaad, and all the little fairy folk are like, yeah, it's like Shrek. Okay, I can get behind this. See, yeah, the king claimed that magic was an affront to the goddess and her gods. Yeah, he's Lord Farquaad. Okay. So she defends these fairies, but now she's like, but they're now only stories and nothing more. To speak of them was to invite trouble. But you just talked about them, defended them, thought about them. You just invited trouble. Come on, get with the program. So they set up camp and she sees little baby feet prints in the dirt. See, that's what I'm saying. Infant-sized footprints leading in and out of a tent. They probably went in there and gave somebody wedgies. Or, you know that trick where you put someone's hand in warm water while they're sleeping and they pee themselves? Oh, they did that. And then they give them a wedgie with their... Yeah, see? She's like, oh, they're only stories. Even though she was like, they're not stories. They're only stories. But now she's like, ooh, I saw those little footprints. Hope nobody else noticed that. Okay, for the next 2 weeks, they traveled down through the continent. Is there a map? Okay, it's Aurelia. This does not look like that big of a place. Where are they going from? And where are they going? You know, I don't even know. I'm done. Okay, see? Here, again, she's contemplating violence involving herself and Kayal. Doesn't do anything about it. Which, you know, I guess that's rational. How many of us have contemplated violence upon ourselves and other people, and we're just thinking about it, just when we're gonna do anything? Like, I get it. It's fine. Here we have another comment about he did look rather good in his knee-high brown boots, and his leather belt did go nicely, even though the hunting knife seemed a bit too bejeweled. Noticing his hunting knife, huh? Yeah, I bet you notice it. Who cares if it's too bejeweled? It's how you use it. Okay, she's doing like a honeypot thing, and she's worried about a spot of mud on her red velvet shoes, and she keeps thinking about that man she killed 3 days before. Okay, maybe we have some guts as an assassin after all. Oh, yes. The once attractive, Selena. Don't be a pick-me girl. Don't do it. Kayal tells her not to find honor amongst such company as, you know, other assassins, because he's like, oh, you think your fellow assassins betrayed you, and that's how you got captured. And she's like, I didn't say that. I never trusted most of them, and I knew they hated me, okay? What? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't trust you. You're all assassins. What do you expect? It's not about you. Calm down. But remember, she used to be pretty. Now her boobs are small, and she smells like an unwashed booty crack, and her ribs are showing and stuff. Yeah, I think that's kind of what happens when you spend all day, every day playing Minecraft and you don't eat or use the restroom like a normal human being. Like, that makes sense, right? That makes sense. You lose muscle mass, you smell bad, people hate you. Yeah, that checks. Okay. The sympathy for the other prisoners makes a little bit more sense now. They took care of her and her wounds after she was whipped for no reason multiple times. Okay, I'll take it. But still, at the end of the day, everyone's a human being, including assassins that you don't trust. So if you don't trust people who are at their worst, maybe you don't trust people who fix the wounds on your back so they don't become infected. They're still prisoners. What the heck is wrong with these prisoners? Why would they care about it? I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna move along here. I'm always not skeptical. I'm always a little critical of story dreams when people have nightmares and dreams and things like that. She has this recurring nightmare of lying in a mass grave where they bury the prisoners that died. It just seems a little too... She tries to pull herself out of rotting limbs, and she's dragged down into a pile of 20 bodies deep. First of all, how do you know it's 20 bodies? It's a dream. I don't wake up from dreams thinking things that specifically. 20 bodies deep. And no one noticed that she was still screaming when they buried her alive. I just think that dreams tend to have a little bit more of the touch of the don't make sense unless you're in the dream kind of thing. You know, you have a really vivid dream and you're dreaming and it feels like real life and it's the most vivid thing ever, and then you wake up and you're like, what? I've had nightmares before that were scary, but I remember the way they made me feel more than I remember the contents of the dream. Maybe that's just me. I know someone's gonna be like, I've had dreams about being 20 bodies deep in a grave before, and it was awful, and I'm not trying to downplay that. I just, as a very active dreamer, don't understand when dreams are too specific, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, okay, moving on. Yeah, she's gonna win this competition and serve the king, and then vanish into nothing, and think no more of castles or kings or assassins. But she's an assassin. What else is she gonna do? Like I asked before, what does a failed assassin do? What does a retired assassin do? I guess you could teach other people to assassinate, but if you don't want to have anything to do with that life, what do you go on to do after that? What are your special skill sets? How do you apply choking someone to death to something else? Like, would you be a chef? Chefs use a lot of knives, right? This could translate, right? This Dorian dude, this crown prince, no. Nope, he finds her beautiful, if a bit strange and sour. But why? 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 Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
Because she's an assassin, and remember, she stinks. I rest my case. He had to remember she was an assassin with the blessing of a pretty face and sharp wits. Alright, yeah. No. She washed her hands with blood, and was just as likely to slit his throat as offer him a kind word. No, she's more likely to slit your throat. She hasn't said a single nice thing to, I don't know, anyone? And she has also probably imagined slitting people's throats and not done it. So... she was his champion. She was here to fight for him and for her freedom. I thought he was picking her up to be his dad's champion. Probably should put a pin in that. Oh my gosh, the image haunted his dreams throughout the night. A lovely girl gazing at the stars, and the stars who gazed back. Give me a break. No. No! Dude, get your shit together. No. Alright, so we're marching into the, place of arrival, and there's a bunch of people out there. Yay! The Crown Prince is back! Oh look, he brought back a prize lady! I really don't think anyone's thinking that. How long did it take them to travel? 2 weeks. I suppose that could be enough time for someone to stop looking like a skeleton? These young women flocking to the Crown Prince, and he's like flirting with them, and Selena's like not helping the cause by noticing the sharp stares from the same women when they beheld her in the prince's retinue. She knew how she appeared, seated atop a horse like some prize lady being brought to the castle. Prize lady, huh? You probably still stink. I haven't seen one mention of you taking a bath while you've been on the road for 2 weeks. The dude, the crown princey guy might see your potential, but I really doubt the young women who are flirting with him and waving and being like, oh my gosh, the crown prince is home, are gonna look at you and see any kind of potential other than like, oh, who's that bitch? She stinks. I can smell her from here. Yeah, exactly. It could be the horse's ass. No, they don't care if it's the horse's ass. It's you. You stink. You're not a prize lady. Don't get it twisted. So she, like, smiles at them and tosses her hair and bats her eyelashes at the prince's back. And Kayal, rightfully so, says, you look ridiculous. Yeah, 'cause she does. They're ridiculous. Yes, let's stoop to their level. Come on. You're not here to be in competition with a bunch of, like, pretty girls. You're here to be in competition with a bunch of other notorious assassins. So, like, let's categorize our priorities a little better here, okay? So she sees some slaves walking down out of a ship, and she wants to leap from her horse and run to them. Or to simply scream that she wasn't part of this prince's court. Those slaves are not gonna care. They're not gonna care. They don't know who you are. They don't care. Stop feeling sympathy. Okay, fine. Feel sympathy for slaves. Like, they're human beings. Slavery sucks. Slavery's wrong. Whatever. But, like, what are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? These aren't the people who fixed your back, even. Like, Oh, we get some more hints about her escapades. She had no hand in bringing them here, but she had worked and bled with them, with their families and friends. She was not like the people who destroyed everything. I'm sorry, not people, monsters. She had done something nearly 2 years ago, when she had freed almost 200 slaves from the pirate lord. It never fails to astound me that these, like, teenage people are doing these amazing feats. Like, you know, okay, fine, she's been training as an assassin since she's 8 years old. Maybe she is capable of doing these incredible things, but Pirate Lord, I don't know. That sounds like a guy who's been around the block a few times. Around the archipelago? Around the Gulf? I just fail to see the logic in an 18-year-old girl getting the better of a pirate lord who's probably, like, what is he, 35 to 40 years old, maybe older? It doesn't say in here. She freed almost 200 of his slaves? Math ain't mathin', but anyway. Oh! See, here's the girl who has to wake up every morning and say, I will not be afraid. She had difficulty breathing. The city was suddenly separate. See, no, I think these are the kinds of things, like, this is where I would like to see the trained assassin in her tamp those feelings down and steel herself and forget about that stuff. But no, we don't get to see that. She's a notorious assassin, but she's getting ready to have a panic attack because she sees some slaves walking down a gangplank. She doesn't know those people. They just remind her of some people she freed a while ago. This is... Glossing. Okay. Probably one of her first logical thoughts. You know, they get up to the castle, and there's glass everywhere. Yes, a glass castle does sound like a horrible idea, considering castles are also usually supposed to double as, like, a fortress in case of war, siege, uprising of the peasants. So, yeah, I think it's perfectly rational for her to dislike the thought of being so high up with nothing but glass to protect her. Yeah, considering just anyone could throw, you know, a handful of rocks and the whole thing's just gonna... yeah. Oh, there's a stone castle. Heaven forbid we build the whole thing out of stone. Well, you've fattened up a bit, and your skin has some color now. Who taught this prince tact? A mouse? A lizard? The dust on the floor of his room because no one interacted with him? Gosh. Okay. Alright, Crown Prince Dorian. thinks he's hot shit. He's over here thinking he's complimented Selena by saying, "You fattened up a bit." How much, really, realistically, how much could you fatten up on a 2-week journey on horseback? Realistically. I don't. Skin having color? Okay. I just, yeah, don't see it. Oh, yeah. And some other girls come around and they're like, "Oh, look, it's the crown prince, oh my gosh." And he's like, "I have to meet with my father." And he, like, looks at a girl, winks at her, Dorian thinks he's pretty cool. And I guess, you know, being the crown prince of anything is probably like a free pass to being cool for most people. Like, he could probably be butt ugly, and people would still be like, "Oh, the crown prince. He's the most attractive person I've ever seen, because he's a crown prince. He's got money, he's got prestige, he's got status. You could live in a glass castle, you know, all the things any girl would ever want." Yes, more contemplated violence. Grabbing the swords of the guards, cutting their throats, vanishing into the gardens. These things make her happy. She smiles. She doesn't do it, though. This is boring. Like, there's been a lot of contemplated violence and not a lot of, like, actual violence. And this girl's supposed to be the most notorious, famous assassin. Okay. More random thoughts as I read this book about a notorious, famous 18-year-old female assassin, which is fine, that's fine, but I don't know. I imagine it's a little bit like serial killers, you know, until they get caught, they're notorious, but they have no face. Is that the kind of notoriety we're talking about here? Because I'm still just not seeing it. I'm not, I mean, serial killer, assassin. Oh, Selena's a serial killer. Anyway, it sounds like she's rescued more people than she's killed. If she freed almost 200 slaves from a pirate lord, who arguably probably hasn't killed as many people, she still freed more people than she's killed. There hasn't been a single reference to how many people she's killed, except for one guy. She killed one guy, and he just got a brief, like, "Oh yeah, I killed this guy 3 days ago, but this stain on my shoe is more important." Yeah. But oh, I almost freed 200 of your people. No. I freed almost 200 of your people. That got more radio play than the one guy she killed. We don't even know who that guy was. It was just the guy she killed. I'm not buying it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Why is this book popular? Haven't figured it out yet. She finally sleeps on a mattress instead of the floor. Good for you, girl. More contemplated violence. This is a theme, like, this is the thing with Selena. She considers jabbing a pin through someone's eye, but doesn't actually do it. I get it. She's not in a position to do any assassinating. Fine. Like, if that's all you can do is think about it, like, at least you're exercising that mental muscle. Sure. Fine. Okay. But, like, girl, come on. She wants to stab him with a pin because she doesn't like the clothing. In character. It's on track for her character. That's for certain. Okay. Yes. Alright. We get to be vain and amazing and awesome. We're going to be the king's champion, and looking good is more important than how many people we've killed. Seriously, I've gotten more descriptions of how much Selena loves clothing and the kind of stuff that she's wearing and the way she looks than I've gotten descriptions of, like, her body count death-wise. We're still working on the other body count. I mean, obviously, Crown Prince Dorian is not off the table yet, and Mr. Kayal is also softening. So, like, you know, she's got some charm, unless, you know, either Dorian just will touch anything that moves, and Kayal is desperate because he's a soldier. We all know that soldiers are, you know, not picky. Yes. More descriptions of the colors of fabrics and the cuts of clothings and things like that than, you know, actual violence. Interesting. for a story about a notorious famous assassin. I've said that so many times. I'm gonna get sick of it. I say that, but, like, I keep forgetting that I've already said it, like, a gajillion times. So, she gets a personal servant. A servant for a slave. Because remember, Selena's engaging in a different kind of slavery now. She's, she's dressed up nice. She's put on some weight. Her cheeks have a little more color. But she's still a slave. And this poor woman is the servant to the slave. Which, isn't that still just slavery? I don't know. Poor Philippa. Philippa, however you say it. Whatever. Philippa Spindlehead, your personal servant. Now, here, Philippa knows who Selena is. She's like, oh, keep that to yourself. But I would have liked to see this. I guess this is fine that Philippa knows who she is. But I would have liked to see this woman be like, who's that? I don't care. Because, honestly, you're a notorious assassin, but no one's supposed to know your name. So why does she know your name? Has she been debriefed? Oh no, none of that's mentioned. I feel like that's the kind of stuff that maybe people are on a need-to-know basis, and maybe she's need-to-know, maybe not. I don't know. But it would have been funny for her to be like, I don't know who you are. I don't care what your name is. I'm just here to be a slave to your slavery, or whatever. Another lady friend of the prince. Yeah, okay. See? Yeah, Prince Dorian thinks he's, all that. Sure. He has a big heart. A big heart, you say? Right. Heart. Yeah, okay. Sure. Okay, see, this could be some funny potential conflict. I'm an assassin, not some court idiot. You're still a woman, and so long as you're under my charge, you'll act like one. Okay. Alright, Philip. Alright. There was surely a reason why I was assigned to attend you. Oh. Woo. That's funny. See, all the guys are like, she has a bad attitude, And Philippa's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Act like a lady for once in your life. Dorian, tall, toned, and elegant, bears no resemblance to his father. Uh-oh. Are there milkmen in this country? Not even his mother had the same sapphire eyes as Dorian. No one knew where they came from. Again, I'm gonna ask, are there any milkmen in this country? 'Cause... Unless that's one heck of a recessive gene. Oh, the king. Hopefully the king keeps up this logical streak, because, Dorian's like, she shouldn't pose any threat or problem while she's here, not knowing exactly how many times she's thought about posing a threat or problem, and the king is like, you think like every fool she's murdered, which, yes, although we don't know how many fools she's murdered. We don't even know if that one guy she mentioned was a fool. We don't know much about him at all, except that he was a guy and he died. So, yeah, but she owes allegiance to none but herself and won't balk at putting a knife through your heart. That's where he's wrong. She has balked at that every single time she's thought about it so far, so... like father, like son, I guess. They're both fools. She'll be fully capable of winning this competition. Come to think of it, the whole competition might be unnecessary. Oh! I said that. If she's the best there is, you don't need to have a competition if you already know. I guarantee she'll be able to fulfill her duties. We truly don't need to train her. Who is we training an assassin? Who is the king gonna do it? Is Dorian gonna do it? 'Cause I really doubt it. Neither of them think like an assassin. Who would train? That's gonna bug me now. Unless there's like a, apprenticeship program. Yes, I'm making a reference to another book that I've read that is about training an assassin, but you see, the royalty didn't train that assassin, someone else. Oh, another assassin. So is there, like, another court assassin here? Like, who would train her? If she needed training, who would train Selena to be better at her job? Even though she's already the best at it. What's going on here? What are we doing? I will not have some peasant woman banging on the gate, wailing that you've broken her heart. Okay, but like, will you have her banging on something else? Your son, perhaps? Ooh. He blushed. Dorian blushed. His dad knows him. He hates it. His dad knows him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so clearly Crown Prince Dorian is supposed to be some kind of, like, womanizer. Oh, he loves ladies. Okay, great. He's a guy. Like, yeah, I get it. But I just can't. I think he's supposed to be portrayed as some kind of, like, suave, dapper dude, and that's not the feeling I'm getting. He seems like a little bit of a goofy dude who's into girls, and the girls are into him, but, like, it's awkward. How do I explain this better? It doesn't ring true to me. Marry a proper woman, then dally as you will after you give me a grandson or two. Ugh. Okay, fine. Like, alright, please don't, though. We can't be having some peasant woman banging at the gate. Silver-tongued son, huh? Mm-hmm. 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 No. No. Nope. No. Nope. Ugh. Crooked teeth, glowing yellow, and the firelight. Ugh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. It's like that one dude from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No. He's like, playing? I am not playing. This is not a game. Okay. Yes, so the king slaps his son. I'm sorry. It wasn't a slap. It was a backhand. No manly man would slap his backhand. Was it an open hand, or was it a closed... It was... I don't know. I really don't get the feeling that any of this conversation and or backsass really merited a backhand. Maybe if Dorian backhands his dad back, it'll, like, make his teeth not be so fucking crooked and gross. That's not funny. Oh my gosh. I don't understand this dynamic between this king and his son, who, like, went out on a limb for him to get this notoriously famous assassin. Shouldn't they be, like, in cahoots? Shouldn't they be in cahoots? Why are they fighting? Isn't the goal kind of, like, the same? Like, don't they both want Selena to win? The king's probably jealous because Dorian has straight teeth that aren't glowing yellow. Maybe Dorian stole his dad's toothbrush, and that's why he's so bitter. Okay, so Selena goes on a tour of the castle with Kayal. Didn't she just get assigned, like, a woman servant lady who could be doing that? I feel like Kayal would have more important duties to attend to, seeing as he's captain of the guard. Why is he stooping to these levels of, like, oh, let me guide this former prisoner assassin girl around and let me show her the place so that she can get a lay of the land and potentially use that to her advantage? Yeah, shouldn't Philippa be doing this as, like, you know what I'm saying? Why is it Kayal? Why? No. No. Mm. Oh. She managed to convince him to give her a tour under the pretense of extreme boredom. See, I didn't even read this far, and I already called it. She is plotting a dozen escape routes from her room. Yeah. Shouldn't the captain of the guard be a little bit more savvy to that? I feel like he should be. I know he's only 22, but, you know, he's been the captain of the guard for 2 years. And if I know 20-year-old dudes, they don't really need to be the captain of anything. So, this already doesn't make sense. And I really would have liked to see more of Philippa chastising Selena for being a fucking bitch. So, yeah. That's funny. Oh. Cass was old, Moses' Hall and stairwells meant nowhere. Escaping would require some thought. You're an assassin. Why is that a problem? Why do we need to bring that up? And the competition is beginning tomorrow. What else did she have to do? I don't know. Prepare? Maybe do some push-ups? You just got out of prison and then you immediately traveled for 2 weeks on horseback? Did you do any push-ups? Oh no, you were constantly chained up because they don't trust you still. You want a tour of the grounds so you can plot an escape. But really you should be doing some push-ups. Maybe some crunches while you're at it. You've really done nothing but swing a pickaxe for a year, which I'm sure keeps you in a certain kind of shape, but like, did you do any assassin activities in your spare time? Like, I don't know, practice, you know, pretend you have a knife in your hand and, like, stab the wall? Just, you know, just to keep the motion sharp. You have nothing better to do but tour the facilities with the captain of the guard, who should probably be captaining things? Okay, sure. Why can't you just say what you really want? And that's Kayal. Like, oh, he's cute. I want to spend time with the cute captain of the guard and stuff, you know. I don't understand why you refuse to enter the glass edition. Buddy, what the? This whole glass castle doesn't make any sense. No sense. Nothing. No, absolutely not. Now, if it were like an art studio, okay, we can get behind that. We can get behind an art studio that is glass because, you know, you can paint and the golden hour and all this kind of stuff, and only an idiot would walk in a house made of glass. Thank you. I think that is probably the smartest thing Selena has said so far. It's as sturdy as steel and stone. No! No! Which weighs more, a pound of steel or a pound of feathers?
Got a question for you.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but that's what it made me think of. Like, ooh, glass is as sturdy as steel and stuff. Boy, who made this man captain of the guard? Oh my gosh. Not Selena. Asking if the other prince is as handsome as his older brother. Some assassin you are. You're assassinating my will to keep reading this book. Ooh, at least you're killing something. I'm gonna keep reading it. I don't remember any of this from the first time I read this book. I'm gonna be completely honest. Why do we care about his brother being handsome? Oh my gosh. No, this girl's not an assassin. She's fucking faking it. She's a fucking fake. She's a fraud. She's a fraud. Fraud. I am really disappointed in how easily Kayal is, like, opening up to Selena. They're going by this clock tower, and it's a horrible noise, and she's like, ooh, that's icky. What a horrible thing. And he's like, as a child, I wouldn't go near it. Why would you make yourself vulnerable like that to this woman-child assassin bitch? Get a grip, dude. You're the captain of the guard. You should be like, I ain't scared of no things. I ain't afraid of no ghost or clock. And it goes on, and Selena's like, what is this mark on the path here? And he's like, I don't know, I'm the captain of the guard. I'm not the captain of knowing all of the things on the paths. She's like, what does the symbol mean? And he says, it means you're wasting my time. Like, the whole thing, she's just now wasting your time? She's been wasting your time the whole time, buddy. Someone demote this man. This is relatable. In case it wasn't obvious, they entered a long hallway, empty and silent, save for their footsteps, and Selena suddenly stops. What is that? And she points at 20-foot oak doors, and she's like, oh, there's dragons, and the thing, and the blah, and he's like, the library. But, hang on, I don't know how to say this correctly, because the two words were like a shot of lightning. Yes, if someone said that was a library to me, it would also be like lightning hitting me. I would be like, I have to go in there and spend all of my time, in case it were not obvious. Would I read a lot of books? No, but I would go in there and just absorb the aroma. That library has to smell amazing. Oh, yeah, see? Selena, another rational thought of hers. Can we go in? Yes. Hello? But, it was a ruse, because the captain of the guard opened the doors reluctantly. Spoiler alert, that means he fucking sucks. If he's reluctant to go in a library, he ain't it, guys. Let's be real. However, the strong muscles of his back shifted as he pushed hard against the worn oak. See, no, Selena doesn't care about going into the library. She cares about muscles shifting hard. And you can't convince me otherwise. See, here she is putting up a really, really good front of hand against her heart, escape routes be damned. I've never seen, how many volumes are there? Girl, shut the hell up, you don't care. If she had stumbled across this same library with, I don't know, Philippa with her, she would have been like, oh cool, great, books, alright, time to keep going. No, Kaol opened the door and his back muscles shifted, and she's like, oh my gosh, can you shift these volumes for me too? Yeah, can you just take them from there and stack them up over there? No, can you stack them over there now? Can you open this book? And now can you open this book? And girl, I see you. You ain't slick. This man has the audacity to be like, you like to read? Which I guess isn't really audacity, because I don't get the feeling that Selena likes to read. We'll see, though. And she's like, you like to read? No, he's the captain of the guard. Do you think he has time to read? And unless there are audiobooks where he comes from, I guarantee you he doesn't get much in the way of, creative literature. He probably has to read reports and stuff. See, this is a good thought. I think Kaol is a little bit of a blockhead. He says, I didn't know assassins liked to read. I would say that this assassin probably is faking it, but I kind of feel like to be a good assassin, you gotta read a lot. You gotta know a lot of, pertinent details. It's kind of like when you're an actor, and you have to have a lot of functional knowledge about things in order to make your role more realistic. It's probably like that. An assassin has to go in, and maybe they don't just get to slit throats and choke hoes. They gotta, poison someone, and they gotta make it look like an accident, or what have you. Like, oh, what kind of poison should I use? You don't just know that stuff. You gotta read a book. Come on. Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to point out here, again, that we are getting a lot of imagery in the library, and we still haven't seen any violence from a reputable assassin. So, okay. So, Kaol sucks, and it's because he said that reading is a bit out of fashion. Why is he in a book then? Fuck this guy. Okay, yeah. So after he says, well, you can't read any of these books because they don't belong to you. They belong to the king. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? It's not like the king goes in the library every day and is like, oh, look at this dust. It's disturbed. Someone's been reading books. Yeah, no, he doesn't. He can't even brush his teeth. He's not gonna go in and notice dust being disturbed. No, the king doesn't care. After that's established, she goes and eats dinner and contemplates planned escape routes. No. This girl was only contemplating Kaol's back muscles. And yeah, that's it. That's really the gist of it. There was no contemplating an escape route or I love reading. No, it was Chaos cute, and he's cuter now that I've seen his muscles flex. Yes. Oh my gosh, this girl is tired after traipsing around the castle grounds and the library with the captain of the guard. She's tired. Forget that she just, like, spent a year playing Minecraft. She spent 2 weeks riding a horse almost nonstop. Like, no, none of that stuff is exhausting enough. It's the spending time with the attractive captain of the guard and the pretending to read. That was probably it. She's tired from pretending that she likes to read. We'll chalk it up to that. Yeah. Yeah, some assassin this bitch is. This bitch. Ooh, pea shiver. This bitch writes a letter to the king saying that she's deprived of company and entertainment, and please let me read your books that you clearly don't read, and I know you don't read them. I don't want to read them either, but, a woman wants what she can't have, so, she's gonna try. This is her letter to the king. Your Highness, it has come to my attention that your library isn't a library, but rather a personal collection for only you and your esteemed father to enjoy. Oh, she isn't writing this to the king. She's writing it to Dorian. Oh my gosh, why? Just go up to him and be like, hey, will you come to the library with me for some important business? Yeah, Kayal's gonna be with us. I hope you guys like each other, because I like both of you, and I've always wanted to, you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Okay, cool. I must beg you to grant me permission to borrow a few so that they might receive the attention they deserve. No, she wants the attention she deserves from Dorian and Kayal. I will not let this go. No, I won't. She's deprived of company and entertainment. This act of kindness is the least someone of your importance could deign to bestow upon a lowly, miserable wretch such as I. Yours most truly, Selena Sardothian. I must remind you that this young lady is an assassin, and she could just sneak into the library and have her wicked way with it, and no one would know. No one would be any wiser. No, she has to write a stupid fucking letter to the king's son begging permission to go in the library and borrow books. You are an assassin. Just go and... Selena beamed at her note. You're proud of that, yeah? Uh-huh. It worked. That shit fucking worked. She could have just saved a half an hour and gone there herself. Not asked anyone's permission. No, she gets a note back from Dorian. I'm not even going to use any of his titles. I'm not going to call him the Crown Prince. This is Dorian. Like, my most true assassin. Enclosed are 7 books from my personal library that I have recently read and enjoyed immensely. She didn't ask you for recommendations. You are, of course, free to read as many of the books in the castle library as you wish, but I command you read these first, so that we might discuss them. This hurts. This is... Why are they passing notes? Why are they passing notes like they're school children? Why can't he just make a personal delivery? Why can't he go there and be like, oh, you want to go to the library? Me too, let's go together, and like, let's be friends and stuff. I heard you wanted to, go to the library with me. No, I promise they are not dull, for I am not one inclined to sit through pages of nonsense and bloated speech, he says, as he writes a note full of bloated speech. Though perhaps you enjoy works and authors who think very highly of themselves. Most affectionately, Dorian Villiard. Yeah. She laughs like a little girl kicks the door shut and chooses the book that seems most interesting and begins to read. Yeah, no, we don't have to engage in, we don't have an assassin contest to start the following day. No, that's not important. Reading books and flirting with the Prince of Flirts, that's important. Yeah, I buy that big time. Yeah, so she wakes up at noon. Valid. Relatable. And she's like, oh, what's going on? What happened to the competition? It's supposed to start today. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't say blah, blah, blah.
And I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. I thought I would be able to make it to 10 chapters, and that's just not gonna fucking happen. So she wakes up late, and there's these ladies talking, and Selena's like, oh, this is dull, boring. They're talking about Dorian likes this, and I bet everyone's wearing that because Dorian likes it, blah, blah, blah.
I don't say
Dorian, blah, 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 blah. And Selena's like, oh, what are these guys talking about? That sounds stupid, but she still continues to eavesdrop because, you know, she's starved for entertainment, and even this vapid shit is enough to satisfy her needs. And one lady's like, it won't take long for Dorian to ask me for a private audience. No, it doesn't take him long to ask any girl for a private audience. It's a miracle he hasn't asked Selena for a private audience in the library yet, because she so desperately desires that, and he knows it. He might be a fool in some things, but not in others. Then they're like, I wonder who she is. And then the topic drastically changes to, no, not my mom. Silly. The girl that the prince brought. They shouldn't care about her. They really should not care. But, you know, they're also starved for entertainment, just like Selena. So, here we are talking about how, oh, this girl wrote in and I haven't heard anything about her. And they call her a harlot. I don't need to worry. The prince's harlot won't be well received. I don't know why they really thought that she was gonna be some kind of lady for the prince when she rode in looking like she did. I guess that's just the conclusion we're jumping to today. And Selena's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Did they just call me a harlot? The prince's harlot? She'd probably be okay with being called a harlot, but that particular harlot? No, absolutely not. No. And, Selena finally commits an act of violence. She throws a flower pot at them, and it misses. Boring. Can you hit your mark next time? I know we're only on page 60, and that probably wouldn't be a good look for you, but I think it would be a good look for you if you hit a woman over the head with a flower pot and then just ran off. You could get away with it too. Remember, you know, you're this super talented assassin. Yeah, you've been caught once, but I think that you would not be caught in this instance. So what's stopping you from connecting with your mark? And yeah, you know, she, the princess harlot, feels very satisfied that she threw a flower pot and missed. I don't think that they learned any kind of lesson from that, but that's just me. You know, what if that flower pot just fell off of something suddenly? No one had to throw it. That's what I'm saying. She should have hit one of them with it, but I'm not a trained assassin, so what do I know? I have definitely had about enough of that for the evening. My plan was to get to chapter 10. I cannot. I need a break. This has been nothing but non-stop what the hell, and I might not seem like it, but I am enjoying that. time for a break. I will see you all in the next installment. Goodbye, and have a good night, day, morning. Stay tuned for more me reading Throne of Glass live and in front of your face.